Hey guys, this is Joy's Point of View. Welcome to my channel. I'm Christian and I watch Blood and Water. Blood and Water is a South African teen drama series created by Nosipho Dumisa. This story is it's on Netflix by the way. The story is loosely based on a true story of a case of Nurse Stephanie, who didn't know that she had a sister until she noticed in high school that she had a sister that she didn't know about. I'm not sure if she was kidnapped or not, but I know that it's loosely based on that story. Now, this story tackles human trafficking about two teenage girls who were separated, who was stolen from her family because of human trafficking, as I've said. And now these girls find each other in high school, and it kind of goes into a drama territory there and there, into some complicated events happening in the story. That being said, I was enjoying. Other than that, I did enjoy this series. I was enjoying season one, two, three. Me personally, I think season three is the best season out of all these four seasons of Blood and Water. I enjoyed all of them. I enjoyed, except for four to me. Season four, I feel like season 4 missed the mark to me. I really wanted to like season 4, but I couldn't see myself loving season 4, except the first episode. And I do have problems with season 4. But before I delve into the problems with season 4, I want to talk about the things that I liked this season. So, starting off with number 1, I enjoyed Puleng. Puleng is still the best thing about this series, even though she does kind of suck at snooping, but I do love her as a character. She's still resourceful, she thinks on her feet, and I actually think she still continued that thread, of being consistent. I actually love how consistent she is, and I love that she does not take crap. I love that she's not afraid to take crap. Like, well, there will be spoilers in the video. Forgot to mention that in my intro. Spoiler territory, so you have been warned. When that girl, I forgot her name, who released her sex tape on live. Okay, she didn't release it. She recorded them having sex with a new dude named Ivan. So yeah, I loved that she fought that girl. I mean, of course, we knew that girl was innocent, but it just proves that Buleng does not take crap, and I love her for it. Another thing that I loved about the series, Tahira. Tahira was actually one of my favorite characters this season. I loved that she was tempted to do something awful, such as cheating in the exam, because she didn't have time to prepare for her exam. She didn't have time to study. She did have time to study, but she's working under a lot of pressure. She's putting too much pressure on herself. So she was tempted to cheat when she met the other troublemakers who were cheating at the exams. I love that in the end, when she was talking about the integrity speech, she stuck to her morals. She stuck to her morals. She decided not to cheat. And I love that she's not a snitch. I love Wendy, but Wendy can be a snitch. I love that Tahira is not a snitch. Wow, I am sweating. I love that Tahira is not a snitch. Another thing I loved about this season is Wade and his new girlfriend. I'm sorry that I don't remember the character's name, but I did love Wade and his girlfriend. And I did love his relate. I always liked Wade, but him and Wuleng, to me, them being a couple always felt a bit forced, in my opinion. So I'm kind of glad they didn't make him and Wuleng a thing, but I am glad that they gave him his own boo. I'm glad that they gave him his own girlfriend. That being said, though, his girlfriend's arc, as much as I think they're a cute couple, his girlfriend's arc was kind of not resolved. It was kind of missed, such as her relationship with her mom, her dynamic with her mom, her not standing up to her mom. That arc was kind of missed, but slow steps. She did at least stand up to school, declared her love to Wade, ensured that she's not embarrassed by Wade. So it's baby steps. It's baby steps. I'll forgive her for that. And I also did love Sen's PTSD, even though I do wish it was explored enough. I do wish that it was explored enough. But that being said, I guess I'll just take the crumbs that we have. Also, Wendy and Chris actually not a bad ship. I saw myself actually loving Wendy and Chris ship. I really did. Yes, they did have a few couples quarrels then there, but they did solve it I guess, in a way that did satisfy me. So yeah, I enjoyed Wendy and Chris ship. And now let's dive deep to the things that I didn't like this season, where I feel like it missed the mark, you know? Starting up with my biggest gripe this season. It forgot what Blood and Water was about this season. It forgot what Blood and Water was about. What happened to the human trafficking plot? Why did we lose that plot? What was the point of season 3 of having that white guy in the last frame? What do they call themselves, that organization? What do they? Point of Grace. I think that's the name. That's the organization's name. They call themselves the Point of Grace, the organization that steals children. They call themselves Point of Grace. Sorry, guys, I'm still using my cell phone as my camera. I don't have a proper camera, and my arms are getting tired. I'm sorry. But that being said, back to what I was saying. Point of Grace. What was the point of having that white guy in the last frame in season 3, only for us to drop that plot? The human trafficking plot. And what was the point of having Sonia's actress in the first episode when she was like, Buleng, this is not far, this is not over yet. Buleng, this is not over yet. What was the point of that if it's not going to be explored in this season? What happened to the human trafficking plot? Because the human trafficking plot is what made Blood and Water Blood and Water. It's actually what made Blood and Water stand out from the other teen drama series. So what happened? Why did we lose that plot? Another thing that I didn't like about Blood and Water this season, Lunga was a great character in season 3. He was actually a good character in season 3, and him and Wade were an iconic duo, especially when they were tracking down the human traffickers. You know, the part that made Blood and Water, the human trafficking plot. Him and Wade were an iconic duo. But in this season, Lunga was kind of unnecessary. In my opinion, I wouldn't have minded if they said he went back to where he was from. You know, he went back to his either village or town. Where I wouldn't have minded if they just dropped him in the fourth season. You know, because it was kind of unnecessary in my opinion, and it was kind of unnecessary for him to tell Wendy that he kissed Chris. It felt like we were starting some unnecessary drama because the season was kind of lacking a bit of drama besides the main characters, besides the main plot of this season. So yeah, Lunga was kind of an unnecessary character. And then my other problem with the season, this is gonna be controversial. My other problem with the season was the new guy, Ivan. I think he's from the series Elite, but I could be wrong. But I've never watched Elite. But this guy was kind of unnecessary, in my opinion, other than being fan service for Elite fans. I feel like he was kind of unnecessary. I did not like that he was not freaking out. He was not freaking out about the sex tape when Puleng was having sex with him and someone recorded them, and then our main villain threatened to release that to the school. Everyone in school was gonna know that. I am bummed that he was not freaked out like Puleng because he's a foreign student. He's new. He's in a foreign country. He doesn't know anyone here. And yet, his first day on school, he's gonna be involved in a sex scandal. And he's not even a South African citizen. He's a foreign student, a foreign exchange student. This is setting a bad example for him more than Puleng. So why is he not freaking out just like Puleng? In my opinion, he should have been way more freaked out about the sex tape, just like Puleng, if not more, in my opinion, considering that he's a foreign exchange student in a foreign country and already he's involved in a sex scandal. So yeah, he should have been way more freaked out more than Puleng, but that's just my opinion. Another thing that I did not like about this story, this season, oh my god, was the villain. The villain was so lame. He was such a lame ass villain. Like, I get that he wanted revenge for Fikile for lying and saying that she had for protecting the other guys who bullied him. I mean, that's understandable. But what I hate was, what was your plan after you exposed her? What was your goal? Expose her, then what? What else are you gonna do? Fine, you exposed her, then what? What are you gonna do next? You know, he kind of had no, he didn't have a clear goal besides exposing Puleng. I mean, Fikile. He didn't have a clear goal outside exposing Fikile that Fikile is not this perfect princess that she pretends to be. But that's it. Like, expose her. Okay, you exposed her. Now what? What are you gonna do? He cries. He just cries. He holds a gun and like, and then what? He was such a lame villain. Why did we drop this the human trafficking story for a Pretty Little Liars knockoff? Why? I did not want a Pretty Little Liars knockoff. I wanted a season 4 of Blood and Water tackling the human trafficking, the thing that made Blood and Water Blood and Water. I don't want a Pretty Little Liars knockoff because that's what this season was. If then even the main villain was Anonymous, who was known as Anonymous. That's a Pretty Little Liars knockoff. This season was a Pretty Little Liars knockoff, and I hated every single moment of that because it's losing what made Blood and Water, the human trafficking case. Other than that, this season actually, nah, this season wasn't for me. I'm sorry. If people enjoyed this season, good for you. But to me, nah, it wasn't for me. I'm sorry. It wasn't for me. Yeah, the season was kind of a mess. I hate that they completely dropped the human trafficking story, which was the main point of the Blood and Water, which was one of the main plots of Blood and Water, the main plots that the previous seasons were setting up, only for it to be dropped for a Pretty Little Liars knockoff plot point, for a Pretty Little Liars knockoff plot point. Despite the previous season setting up the Point of Grace to be our main antagonist, and then you introduce a new antagonist who is such a Pretty Little Liars knockoff. What happened to Blood and Water? I don't want a Pretty Little Liars knockoff. Give me the fourth season of Blood and Water where they expand more on the human trafficking world, on the human trafficking business, on the Point of Grace industry. Give me more of that. Not Pretty Little Liars knockoff. Come on, writers, you can do better. You can do better. Come on. Come on. Anyway, that's the end of my video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share that button if you will, and click that notification bell. Thank you guys. Love you.